Hey, man, world's best host, yours truly, ET, man. We are locked inside of the galaxy right now. I am with the world famous, illustrious, top of the line, big dog, Mr. Gucci Man. Definitely checking in right now. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good, and thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it.
How about this, man? I'm going to say something to you that I don't think anyone said to you in an interview or in a conversation. I don't like doing interviews. I do conversations. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for everything that you went through, everything that we got to watch, appreciate, cry with you, vibe with you, the music you put into the clubs that put people in a vibe to make them feel like, ooh, I'm in the zone right now. For all the strip clubs, the college scene, the high school scenes, all the artists you help influence. No one's ever just told Gucci Man, thank you, I don't think.
Well, I appreciate it, honestly, coming from you. And some people have told me thank you, what I'm saying? But it always feels good to hear that, straight up, and I appreciate it.
Because a lot of the times I think artists are going through a lot of different work, right? And particularly with artists like you, I tell this story a lot of the times. You don't know, but I'm going to tell the story to you. Many years ago, I think you had your studio off on Moreland. Remember when you had all the boxing gym downstairs?
Yes.
And you used to invite me over there all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And one night it was late. And I'm not going to say all the artists, but all the current artists that we know today, some of them were on the couch, knocked out sleep. Mm-hmm. You was in the booth. It was pitch black. Your engineer was sitting there working and they was falling asleep. And you said in the booth, you said, hey, keep up. And the engineer woke another engineer up and had her start working.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think people know your work ethic.
I don't think they know it either. People don't, a lot of people didn't, so it wasn't a lot of social media I was doing back then. I definitely didn't have like cameras around. So,
no.
Like you said, it gonna have to be like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Something like you telling a story, what you seen, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people just didn't get to see that behind the current, what's really going on.
I think that type of work ethic is possibly missing a lot when people talk about how to really make it. Where do you derive that energy from? Do you know, or is it just in you?
I think it just comes from my upbringing, my family. My mom, she was a hard worker. I seen her working 2 jobs. And that just always, from that point, my brother, he went to the military, played football, he worked. So that was like my 2 examples, like, if I want something that, I got to work hard for it. So no matter what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
The project is a double-sided or a 2-sided project. 24 songs.
Yes.
Yeah. The first record on there, when I first heard it, I said, oh, he grew up. It sounds like an orchestra.
Yeah.
Like my thought of it was like, yo, I want to see Gucci with like, a tux on, coming out to this in front of like, with a giant orchestra behind him doing this record. And it just sounded like you were just busting.
That's my favorite record on the album. That's why I put it #1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is Gucci Man growing up, Gucci Man right here.
Yeah, that's where we at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family on the cover.
Family on the cover.
Yeah. And that's where this is going to right now. Do you ever feel any type of small resentment? And I say this because I've been in Atlanta a long time. Mm-hmm. I've either touched in some way a lot of the artists that came out or helped out, even if it was 1%.
Yeah.
But, for the current scene of what Atlanta is, giving somebody their first interview, putting them on Battlegrounds, whatever the case may be. But I feel like the nucleus of what Atlanta is now, you're the nucleus and you're not getting enough credit for that. Do you ever think about that?
I think that, I think about that sometimes, but I don't like stress over it or I'm not bitter about it. I'm not resentful about it, but it's just almost like, whoever is the victor kind of like tells their side of history.
Right.
So it's like, history is told by the victor's side. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people who, I ain't gonna say I'm not victorious, but I'm just saying like, rappers want the narrative to be where it's more appealing for them. You know what I'm saying?
For their image.
So you might don't want to say, oh, Gucci came in and he was paying my bills, or well, I was in a real messed up state and he came, even though we know that's true and some people might have witnessed that, they might want to say, hey, I'm self-funded, so I never needed nobody. Oh, Gucci, there just was an acquaintance.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth of it.
No, and it's kind of a sad situation because I was trying to explain to somebody, I was like, I don't think y'all understand the kind of impact that Gucci Man has had, not just in the music industry, let alone be said in Amigos. We're talking about anybody else after that, Waka Flocka, even in some way Nicki Minaj, Let's talk about even up to now the Pooh Shiesties, all that 1017, like, you know, So Icy Entertainment pushing all these new artists. You have become this nucleus of what Atlanta is, and people kind of just skim over. I'm like, y'all not giving this man enough credit. He should be walking around with a presidential, like in Atlanta at least, you know.
It's weird, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of always been like that in a way. You know, sometimes they say like, yo, the place where you came up at, where you was raised, that's your hometown, like they ain't gonna support you as much as surrounding towns.
Yeah.
And they don't even see your talent the way other people appreciate it. And I think, I seen that. But Atlanta love me, and I get a lot of love in Atlanta. But the story ain't told like the true story. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's gonna get some people like in due time. It's gonna get told because I'm doing a documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, talk about that. When's that gonna come? Because I that needs to be told. I think sometimes the person who's creating the legacy needs to sometimes just tell the legacy because everybody ain't gonna speak up, bro. I
said, like, you know, I'm coming up on my 20th anniversary of my 2005 album Trap House when I first came in the game. So I'm like, I'm finna start doing a documentary so like I can present it in 2025.
You know, I said this to many people. I was like, there's an era that started what we now call the streaming era.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, that started probably, if you're in Atlanta, it probably like Cocoa Brother, because that was like the, you know, log on to www.blah. But then when me and Jay came on with Dirty Boys, that, like, I remember the LimeWire days and the MySpace days, and like that's where the Gucci Mans and the Nicki Minaj's and the Drakes and the Waynes, they are the first of what is now. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, you know, a lot of things that I was doing back then, people was like, you know what I'm saying, that's not the way to do it. You know, like putting out music for free, you know, just not having a physical copy. I've been doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even before it was popular.
Right.
And I got so much resistance from the label because they was just like, that ain't the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? You getting in your own way. But then come back when I got locked up, it's like, okay, Gucci, you was a genius. Look what they doing now. Look how people are consuming music. Look how people are presenting music. But I've been thought like that. You know what I'm saying? I've been thought like, hey, how much more money would I make if I don't have to have a physical copy? Right. If I can just take all this stuff that I'm doing in the studio and drop it and make money. I used to make a lot of money when I used to do it. Like, I won't say I want to make as much as I would if I would have put out a real rollout with an album. But I was saying like, damn, it's a lot of money and just speed. And if I can just do this every 2 weeks and you make one album a year and I make 24 albums a year, I can make more money than a bigger artist.
Right.
If I got the work ethic and got the producers, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of stuff you got to have in place to do it, but it could be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The double-sided project you're putting out right now, is that because you have so much music? In my imagination, you're sitting on about like 10,000 songs that we just never heard. I've seen you work, so I know how you work.
Most of the music, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't sitting on as much music I used to, because I put out all the music I have, I put it out. That's why I got so much music out. But this time when I dropped this album, like I kind of like wanted to wait till 1017 and drop my album, because I hadn't dropped the album like 2-3 years. I've been kind of like focusing on my label. But I was like, I want to put out an album to kind of like be a time capsule of where I'm at in my life right now, so I can look back on it like 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, basically, I'm going to roll this album out, and this is going to be the discography of Gucci, you know, in 2023 with my little girl, my boy. So now when I look back 10 years from now, I say, okay, this is where I was at. These the songs I made. This what was on my mind. And that's where really was like my whole, like, breath of fresh air. Like, just take a time, just enjoy your family, and just express that instead of, like, talking about not even the same types I talk about, but the same types I just hear people talk about.
Right.
Like, show people like, hey, you can talk about some more things. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to have a family. It's cool to have dinner at home.
It's cool to have growth.
All that's cool too.
Right. And you're not, and I think people get things misconstrued. You can be multifaceted in different things. Yeah, I can still be the trap dude, but I'm also a dad.
100%.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nice guy, but I'm also a bad guy if you make me.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that we want to see. A lot of people wanted to see Gucci Mane in that growth. That's why this project looks that way to me. Even from the cover alone, when I first seen the cover, I was like, oh, it's him and the family dressed up.
Yeah.
They look like they going to an event. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is a whole different type of a project here that he wants to present to the world, to let the world know, hey, I'm all of these faceted things. I'm not just Trap God Gucci. You know what I mean?
Got to be, and I just want to be real. Like, if you ain't real with yourself, how you gonna be real with your fans? How they gonna, you know what I'm saying? I want them just like I was back then in 06 or 05. Like, see me in 2023. It might inspire you, it might don't inspire you, you know what I'm saying? But I know it's gonna inspire a lot of people, but that's why I'm putting it out there. Like, hey, listen, it's nothing to be ashamed about having a family. It's nothing to be ashamed about being responsible. You know, so it's nothing to be ashamed about, you know, trying not to go to jail. Like, you know.
You have an actual fan base. I think we live in a time, I've said this a lot of times, we live in a time where numbers do lie, because we have streaming farms, and you don't really, and then all of a sudden everyone can go gold and platinum now because so many streams equal platinum. Yeah. But when you actually have an actual fan base and people show up for your parties or they show up for your events, that's called a fan base. That's not called viewers, right? The work that you did to get a fan base, what do you think it was that connected you with the people?
I think the same thing maybe that like make me like my favorite artists. I wouldn't say it was the talent. I wouldn't say it was the, you know, so much of the wordplay or the songs. Just so much, hey, you know, I can identify with that person. I feel like what he's saying is authentic. You know, feel like I probably feel like they think I'm like, hey, that could be my cousin, that could be my brother, that could be somebody in my neighborhood. Because that's what I was. I was just a guy from the neighborhood, you know, really a dude on the corner with a bunch of couple of dudes on the corner, and we just tried to, all us trying to be rappers, you know what I'm saying? And it really just like, that's really all it boils down to. Like, my favorite rappers ain't the most lyrical. My favorite rappers are the ones I feel like I can relate to.
Relate to.
And I feel like what he's saying is true, especially if he talking about, if he got a story. And I feel like I got a story.
Trap Gucci, right? This Gucci, who you are now, has obviously grown. You have family, love and respect. You're pushing that narrative as well. Like, hey, I've grown from what I once was. Who was the first person to come in your life and say, hey, I know what you're doing out here, but let me show you about trust funds and business licenses and how to get your money transferred over to this way, and this is what you need to do on the business side of things? Who brought the business to Gucci?
100% my wife.
Wow. Yeah. Say that again. Who did it?
My wife. 100%.
Your wife brought the business to Gucci. She said, hey.
I wouldn't say that she brought the business to me, because I always was a businessman.
Right.
But she's a great businesswoman, and that me being in a relationship with her, it kind of like put a mirror up to me, like, you know what I'm saying? If she responsible like this about her business, you know what I'm saying? Look what you could do with yours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I was taking a lot of things for granted, and she was doing a lot with less than what, you know what I'm saying? She was making a lot done with less. So I'm started thinking about that. Like, you know, I need to really be about my business like this and just see what I can get done.
Yeah.
And really, yeah.
Would you say, respectfully, because I've always said that when people talk about relationships and how they've gone wrong in the current era, and I tell people all the time, it's because people are looking for the wedding and the wife, and no one's looking for a teammate. I would think that you would categorize your wife as more of a teammate, where you guys working together versus just.
Nah, she my teammate. I can say categorize. Yeah, I go for that.
Yeah, and you guys are like looking out for each other in this fact that, like, if he hits the ball over here, she's catching the ball over there, and vice versa.
I think you would have to, well, not think, but like, for me to marry you, had to be a special person. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like, and my wife is a very special person. Like, she's not the average lady. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I learn a lot from her. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, like, they feel like, oh, I can't learn from a woman, or I can't. Me, I'm like, I'm listening, and not even listening. I'm just watching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I take that from anybody who's doing something that I can use or benefit from or add to my game. You know what I'm saying? And I seen like, damn, she's so sharp on her business, like she prioritized that. And you know what I'm saying? Me, I kind of took my talent for granted, because I can, you know, it's not the same kind of thing. But when I really just got on, like, okay, you know, I don't have no time to waste, you know, the benefits start coming even more.
Because when you have the type of talent that you have, and I told the story earlier about the way that you record, it's just so easy for you. It's probably very easy for you to take it for granted. You're not normally seeing nothing like that. Like, I've been in the studio with, oh God, I don't even know how many artists. Yeah. They're not working like you, bro. They're just not. There's a couple of artists out there that I know work like you, you know, but a lot of them, they're just not, you know. Yeah. I will say this, with the Breath of Fresh Air, you have consistently stayed around with the people, producer-wise, that were there in the beginning, stayed down when you were going through your rough times, you find a way to always still work with them. Zaytoven, Mike Will made it.
Yes.
The relationship with them, what keeps that stronghold together?
It's a real friendship, and it's more than just, you know what I'm saying, music. It's like I just want to include them. I don't even want them to feel left out. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, honestly.
So you've built a brotherhood. It's like, yo, you guys gonna be around regardless. Like, we're gonna do something.
As long as I'm making music, I'm gonna be working with Zay. Gonna be on the album. You know, if we skip an album, he ain't on there. You know, we just gonna always.
We gonna be on mixtape something, bro. We doing something
to our 80s, like rock and roll people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me and Zay gonna always make music. I know that'll never stop.
Do you have you know the rock group, the Grateful Dead?
I heard the Grateful Dead.
Do you think they have like a cult following?
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that you've kind of got that? I see that for you. Like, you just got this cult following.
That. I really do. I want to be able to, like, you know, perform until I'm 60 and 70, like Willie Nelson and all these big bands that be all over the world. You know what I'm saying? I want to forever be able to perform if I want to.
I think hip hop has reached that level now. I don't think there's a demographic for it anymore.
Me neither.
Especially when I'm out here in the streets. I get to see what's going on in the world and the audiences, and I say, oh, well, there's this 20-year-old listening to this, 21 Savage song or this, whatever song, but there's also this 50-year-old that likes the same music now. Nowadays, they might not party to it the same way, but they know the same music. So the demographics have kind of erased.
Yeah. It's definitely like, no matter how old are you, like 50-year-old rappers, they still getting booked. I be seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because like hip hop is 50 years old, so all these people, they still love Slick Rick. They still love LL. Like, they still want to see them people, and people still keeping themselves up and, you know what I'm saying, can perform good. Right. So I love it. And this just shows me, it makes me like, okay, you got to stay sharp, because when you 53 years old, 54 years old, you want to be looked at like some of these guys who still getting booked.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that make me take everything serious that I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that you're not just this trap god rapper. You've had 8 times platinum with Bruno Mars. You've had records with Mariah Carey. You've extended past Eastside Shouty Atlanta. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's gone way beyond. And I think sometimes people forget that. I'm like, yo, I don't think y'all really understand. Gucci Mane's in the same category as a lot of these other artists that y'all are leaving him out of.
I don't know. I hope they. You know how it is. Like, people you're only good as the last thing you put out, and people forget. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Breath of fresh air, man. This project, after this, what, the documentary's coming next? Or are you going to just relax?
No, after this, my next project is going to be, I'm doing another book, my third book. It's about mental health, and I'm going to make an album to go along with the book. And that's what I'm going to do, like, top of 2024.
About your health? About
mental health.
Mental health.
Not my mental health, just people I've witnessed, people I'm trying to help and reach, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I'm writing a book tackling mental health and just my issues I've been having to going through my whole life, and I'm putting it, and also accompanying that with an album.
I connected with, do you know who Kelly Bowman is?
Kelly Bowman.
Dr. Sabi's daughter. You know Dr. Sabi?
Dr. Sabi, I think I seen online the guy who passed away.
Yeah, he cure all these people, all those diseases. She just moved back to Atlanta, and she's really big, she has all her herbs and stuff in Atlanta now. And they get it from either Africa or Honduras or South America somewhere. But your mental health, obviously you've lost, I don't know how much weight, but you look healthy, you look youthful. What role do you think that your weight loss and your eating habits has played on your mental health?
A lot to be honest, because when I think like when you see a person, not seeing a person, when you see me, it's like what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? When if I'm looking unhealthy, I was doing unhealthy things. Now I'm looking healthy because I'm, so it's like what's inside you see on the outside. Yeah,
and all the chemicals you're putting in your body, it affects your mental.
It affects your mental.
I was talking to Kelly Bowman about that, but I just think that was a lot of people don't understand the correlation between. A lot of it is just your eating habits. You don't even realize what you're putting in your body is poisonous. And you're like, oh, I have mental health problems. No, you have an eating problem. Yeah, that's you got a workout problem.
Yeah, 100%. You got to, whatever it is, you got to be responsible. You got to take it upon yourself to hold yourself accountable. And you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you can. If you just hold yourself accountable and be responsible, you know what I'm saying? You can get past it.
Yeah. At this point, man, Breath of Fresh Air, the way you come in on it, I noticed that you had the first 4 tracks that I listened to, you had other artists started off the song. Is that strategically planned that way? Like, you didn't come in first.
Yeah,
you're
right.
like the second. You're like this. I was like, oh, he wants to have the verse.
Most artists, most people tell you like you always supposed to be the first person on the record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is like with some of these artists, you know, I was actually trying to, you know, like catch a vibe off of them. You know what I'm saying?
Got
so
you.
They'll go first, so I just keep the record like that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes instead of like swapping it out and say, okay, I'm gonna go first because it's my album, I kind of just like how, you know what I'm saying?
How it is.
But most people are like, nah, you supposed to be first. You supposed to put them on the second. But I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever done anything, honestly, that's been strategically by the book. It's been by Gucci's book, and it seemed to work for you.
Yeah.
Anything that you would go back and tell Gucci Man 2005?
Oh man, like watch your friends. You know what I'm saying? The people who you think your friends are not your friends.
Wow.
Yeah. From 05. You saying, but you know, you can never do that. Like,
isn't it weird how sometimes you notice that just because someone's blood doesn't make them family, and then when someone's not blood, somehow they're family sometimes?
100%.
It's like, dang, you gonna look out for me? We're not even related.
Yeah, it's the person. Like, everybody going through something. Everybody got their own thing they doing, and everybody kind of got their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? Family members, friends, that's just everybody in the world.
Well, let me just say this to you, man. I know you hate doing this kind of ish.
Yeah.
And interviews and stuff. So let me just thank you again, and I'm happy to be a part of your career in some way. Maybe even if I only played 1% of it, man. I say thank you to you for allowing me to be around, brother.
I tell you, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you know, like, all that stuff, I seen it. You know what I'm saying? Even back in the day, when I don't want to get into it, when most people was always going with the, you know, that wasn't going with the underdog. You would say, hey, don't sleep on
Pills, Wasted, the one with you and Wiz Khalifa. I'm like, these are the ones, bro.
You used to always like root for me and always keep me going. So I appreciate you too.
No problem, brother. I'm get out of here, so you can get on to the next person to come here and ask you a bunch of same questions to you. Breath of Fresh Air. It's coming. It's here. Amazing, man. Congratulations, brother.
Appreciate it.
Salute to you, brother. Thank you.